Hey, welcome back to Chasen Flavor. Today we're going to do a classic. We're going to do some pizza. We're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do it keto style. So we're going to make a nice fathead dough for it. Then we're going to use some really delicious keto toppings on top of it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so simple. I can't wait to make it with you guys. So to get started with this fathead dough, it's actually a really simple dough to make. These are your ingredients for the fathead dough. We have shredded mozzarella cheese, almond flour, some cream cheese, and then some eggs. I'll have the actual recipe link in the description down below, but it's gonna be really simple. Basically, we're gonna melt the cream cheese and the mozzarella cheese together. We're just gonna do that in pulses on the microwave, about 90 seconds, mixing it part of the way through. Then we're gonna add in the almond flour and the egg. We're just gonna get that mixed up and combined really well. And so I'm gonna go ahead and toss this in the microwave, get it melted a little bit. We'll come back, we'll show you what it's looking like as it's melting all together. All right, so this is what we're looking at about 60 seconds worth of time on the microwave. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little mix going just to kind of get it started to combine. It is gonna go back in the microwave for probably about another 30 seconds or so. That way we can get it all melted up really well. But just a little mix there. That looks good. Back in the microwave, at least another 30 seconds we're looking at here. All right, so that's 30 seconds more right there. We'll go ahead and give these cheeses a little bit more of a mix, a little bit more of a combine before we start adding the other ingredients. All right, that's looking pretty smooth right there. So we're gonna go ahead and dump in the almond flour. And then I'll go ahead and put in the eggs too, right there. Perfect. Now it's gonna be a little tough to mix this just because, you know, it's a cheese-based dough. If it starts seasoning up, getting too tough, you're not able to mix it anymore, you can always throw it back in the microwave for maybe like 10-15 seconds just to soften it up a little bit more. I've had to do that multiple times in the past. It doesn't affect the final product. It doesn't make it taste bad or anything like that or gritty. This one's coming along pretty nice. It looks like we got a good melt on that cheese, so it's mixing pretty well there. Pardon me. So basically what we're going to be looking at doing is getting this mixed up, and normally the recipe that I'm following that's going to be down that description there, that tells you to put it between two pieces of parchment paper, roll it out to about 10 inches, that kind of thing. I actually am going to use a sheet pan because for lunch today for this pizza, Heather and I are going to be doing a half and half theme. We're going to do half with one set of ingredients and half with the other set, just kind of make it look really pretty, taste really good too, and we can each have our own toppings, but we don't need to dirty up a bunch of pans or anything like that. So that looks pretty good, mix right there. Let me bring in my pan. I've already prepped it. I've got my 2 sheets of parchment paper. One is going to be underneath the dough. I'm going to put the dough right here. We're going to push it in. We're going to put the dough on there. We'll put this one on top and spread it out. We're going to push it into this pan. I did actually a double batch of the dough because I know for a fact that a single batch does not spread all the way out in this pan. So we did double batch, a little bit thicker crust. There's nothing wrong with that. You can make it however you want, of course. All right, put that to the side there. A little bit more dough there. Really sticky dough right here. But we want all of it that we can get. All right. Bring in the topper. And now we're just going to spread it out. Just spread it as best you can. You can use your hands, you get a rolling pin, whatever you want to use. I like using my hands. You really feel the thickness of the dough if I use my hands then, and that's what I'm looking for. Is I want to basically make this as consistent and as even as possible across the dough. You can see a few spots where it's a little thin right there. That's all right. Spread it out. Not gonna fit perfectly to the pan, but it's gonna fit a lot better than a single batch. All right, so I think that's pretty good right there. Now we're carefully gonna peel this parchment paper back on top. If you want to, you can always spray the parchment paper with a little cooking oil or something like that to get a good or better release, because as you can see, it's not gonna release perfectly here. That's some of those thinner spots right there where it's not releasing perfectly, but that's okay. Still getting a pretty good pull away. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's tearing up a little bit. That's all right though, because we can just scrape this right off and put it right back in there to fill in that hole. So let's grab a little spoon. No biggie, guys. This is real life cooking. Things like that happen. It's an easy fix. There we go. Look at all that dough that we just pulled back. We're gonna use our fingers here, just kind of spread it out. You won't even really notice, of course, once it's done baking, because you're gonna put all those toppings on it too. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. That looks good to me. All right, let's clear out the area, give you a better look at that dough. Pretty good, a little thin towards the center, but that's no big deal. We're gonna throw a good amount of toppings on it, you won't even notice. That's gonna go in your oven that you've set to 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes to par bake, to get it kind of ready. Other thing you wanna do, take a little fork and just hit it with some holes across it. That way it doesn't fluff up and you get a nice even bake across it. That has happened before where I forgot to pierce this dough and it's just gotten really big and fluffy, and it's actually really funny to see, but not really conducive for putting toppings on. So, all right, that looks good. That's gonna go in the oven. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to show you what it looks like and get those toppings added on. So we had this in the oven for about 10 minutes. Turned out really nice, looks absolutely beautiful. I did let it rest for probably about, 3-4 minutes now. So we're gonna go ahead and do the toppings. Like I said, this is a keto pizza. The thing you gotta watch out for is gonna be the pizza sauce, right? So this one, it's not necessarily low sugar or anything like that. This one has about 5 net carbs in it per serving. The serving size though is 1/4 cup. We're not, this whole thing we might use 1/4 to 1/2 cup. So it's gonna be spread out across it really well. So that's gonna keep it nice and low carb there for us. So we'll go ahead and put this on first. I think we're gonna do the pizza sauce across the entirety of the crust there, not necessarily pizza sauce on one side, another sauce on the other side, though you can do that. We'll go ahead and get it put on. And just spread out a little bit there. And then we're gonna use the back of the spoon to really even it out and smooth it out. So let's do that now. Looking good. We did get one of those air bubbles that I was talking about. See, that's why you gotta pierce the dough, guys, before you bake it, or else you get those air bubbles. Though, sometimes that's one of my favorite parts of the pizza crust, right? Is just a little cheesy, doughy air bubble at the edge of it there. That's looking pretty good. What do you think? You want more sauce on your side? No, she says that looks good. Spread it out just a little bit better. The best part about this is you can go all the way to the edge if you want to, if you don't want any particular little crust edge. All right, so that looks good. Pizza sauce to the side. We're gonna do our side with the mozz, and then we're gonna let Heather do her side because she's not a huge fan of the cheese like I am. So we're gonna do a generous amount on our side here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Go ahead, Heather, get your side. While she's doing that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about the toppings that are gonna go on my side right here. So I did make some homemade bacon bits. I just chopped up some bacon into some small pieces, fried it off in my cast iron. And then I also did a little bit of pan roasted chicken. I cooked it in that bacon fat from the rendered bacon bits. And then, so we're gonna do that on our side. And I believe, Heather, you're gonna do pepperonis, right? Little pepperonis. So we'll go ahead and let her get her pepperonis on there. Pepperonis, bacon, chicken, all these things are keto-friendly proteins. No carbs at all in any of them, so that's really nice. The only thing you gotta watch out for is the seasoning that you put on your chicken whenever you get ready to cook that up. Mine, I use Meat Church Holy Voodoo. It's delicious, and it is keto-friendly. It's keto approved. There's no carbs in that as well, so that's beautiful. Heather likes her pepperoni. She likes a good classic pizza topping, so that's what she's going with today. Again, no carbs in that, guys. We're gonna go ahead and start getting some of our toppings on as she finishes up. Good amount of bacon bits, guys. Do not skimp on that. I don't know how I came to find it, but bacon is just, it's one of my favorite pizza toppings. There we go. That's looking good. Spread it out a little bit more though. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and bake it on your side. I got a few bacon bits left.
I'm good, thank you.
She says no. All right. All the bacon bits for us there. All right. And like I said, did some Holy Voodoo chicken from Meat Church right there. That's going to be our other topping right here on this side. So once we get all these toppings spread out the way we want, guys, it's really simple. It's just going in the oven to get the cheese melted and get things heated through. Probably about 5 to 7 minutes. This chicken's still warm because I just finished cooking it while the dough was baking and resting. So that's perfect. You know, just put all the chicken on there. Why not, right? That's a loaded pizza right there. That looks absolutely delicious already, I think. I mean, we do want to get it all nice and melty, though. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to get that in the oven, and we'll show you what that looks like in about 5 minutes. All right, just 5-6 minutes later, we got just an absolutely beautiful keto pizza. Almost no carbs in this entire thing. Really, the only carbs that we see are coming from the pizza sauce, and there's just a very light layer on that, so it's not bad at all. So to finish this off, on my side, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of grated parm on the top there. Again, I like it cheesy, so boom. Heather's side, she wanted to go a little bit fancy with hers, so we've got some beautiful Maldon sea salt right here. We're going to do a light sprinkle on that side. If we can get into the back, there we go. Maldon sea salt is just absolutely wonderful finishing salt. Huge, just absolutely big crystals on there, which makes it beautiful. You don't get, it doesn't over salt the food by having the large crystals. In fact, it's a much more subtle salt flavor, which makes it really nice for finishing like that. And then she wanted just a little bit of parm as well, so we're just going real light on hers, not too much. So that's all. That's how you do it, guys. Beautiful side-by-side keto pizza. Do not sleep on this one. It's so simple, and if you're going with the keto lifestyle or even just a low-carb lifestyle, this is a great way to go.